Hi there, it's Todd Smith, your member of Provincial Parliament for the Bay of Quinte and Ontario's Minister of Energy, back for another COVID-19 update here from the Ministry of Energy offices at 77 Grenville in downtown Toronto. I can see Queen's Park over my computer screen right now, and we've had a lot going on over the last couple of weeks, but this should be the last week of the House sitting before we take our break for the Christmas holidays. I can tell you, though, that the work has been ongoing when it goes to grappling with COVID-19 and the pandemic and ensuring that people, should they want their third doses, are going to be able to get them. I can tell you also that there have been over 24 million COVID-19 doses administered in Ontario since the pandemic began and since we got our hands on those vaccines back in the late spring. Over 90% of the population 12 plus have received at least one shot, and now 88% have released two shots. And of course, we're continuing to roll it out for third shots to those who want to get that third booster shot. So if you haven't got your booster shot yet, you will be able to get it if you're 50 plus, or if you have other high risk attributes that would allow you to qualify to get the third shot. You can get that starting on Monday morning at 8 a.m. and that would be December 13th. At 8 a.m. But you can book now, so don't delay. Go to the website right now and book your appointment to get your booster shot if you want to get it. I can tell you that the COVID-19 vaccines are effective, but the boosters provide that extra layer of protection as new variants continue to arrive. And of course, we're keeping our eye on the Omicron variant. Right now, we're taking a cautious approach to the Omicron variant, although it appears so far that the vaccines are working against it. It also appears through early indications that the symptoms that you get if you're vaccinated may not be that severe. However, if you're unvaccinated, you could end up in hospital. And we have 137 people hospitalized with COVID-19 across the province today, and we have 168 in intensive care units. So there are some people that are still feeling the health effects, serious health effects from COVID-19. And the best thing you can do to protect yourself is to go out and get that vaccine. So ontario.ca/book vaccine is the best place for you to go to make that appointment and go out, get your shots, and make sure that you're protected. Most people have done it. I'll tell you, I know some bad stories of people who haven't done it, and they're in a pretty dire situation today. So the best thing you can do to protect yourself and your family is to go out and get the vaccine. And of course, we're continuing to get it to those who are 5 to 11 as well, young children, and you can make your appointments through the Hastings Prince Edward Public Health Unit website or from ontario.ca/book vaccine as well. So if your children haven't been vaccinated yet, we do know there have been an increasing number of cases at schools, and the best protection for the little ones is to get that vaccine too, so say public health officials. So again, taking a cautious approach with Omicron and the various COVID-19 variants that are out there. Some news from the Ministry of Energy that's occurred over the last week or so. I had a couple of big announcements last week. One occurred in King City, which is just north of Toronto, north of Vaughan, north of Canada's Wonderland, if you know that better. We were at the ONroute location there, the King City ONroute location. Myself, Minister Caroline Mulrooney, who's Ontario's Minister of Transportation, and it was in the home riding of the Minister of Education, Stephen Lecce, where we announced that the Ontario government, in partnership with a company called Ivy Charging Network, which is a conglomerate made up of OPG, Ontario Power Generation, and Hydro One, will be installing fast charging EV charging stations, electric vehicle charging stations, at all 23 ONroutes across the province. And some of the first ones are actually going to be in Bay of Quinte in our own area. So the first fast charge stations are going to be installed at Napanee and Odessa, and also the Trenton ONroute, the one that's north of the 401, in January. And then Trenton South is actually going to have its EV chargers installed in February, so not that far away. So we will see those fast charging, Ivy Charging Network EV units set up at all ONroutes across the province over the next year or so, but they're coming first to Bay of Quinte, so that's good news. And what this will allow for is those who have electric vehicles, and we know more and more people are considering electric vehicles and replacing their ICE engines, their internal combustion engines, with a battery-powered vehicle. One of the things that was holding them back actually was something called range anxiety. They want to know that if they go on a trip that they're going to be able to get a power up, and this will allow them to do that simply by pulling off the ONroute station. These fast chargers will allow you to charge your vehicle in 10 or 15 minutes. While you go inside to the new ONroute locations, which have, in most part, been renovated and are very modern and new and fresh, and you can sit there, have a coffee, have a sandwich, and then hit the highway again onto your next generation, next destination, I should say. And so it makes a lot of sense to install these at the ONroutes across the province. So again, all 23 will be getting them. And another announcement we made on the energy front, I was really pleased to be at the Darlington nuclear facility, just right there in Bowmanville along the 401. And we announced that OPG has selected the technology that they're going to go with to build a small modular reactor. This is the first nuclear build in Ontario since Darlington in 1993. So it's a big deal. And I was really happy to be there as OPG announced that they had selected GE Hitachi as the technology that's going to build this 300 megawatt. It's called the BWRX 300. It's a 300 megawatt small modular reactor that will be built right on site there at Darlington and is expected to be producing electricity, green, emissions-free electricity onto the grid by 2028. And there's all kinds of opportunities for economic development. When we're talking about reducing emissions, not just in Ontario or in Canada, on a global scale, the world is watching because we're first movers on this project. And there are many, many jurisdictions around the world that are still burning coal. I think of Poland, Estonia, Romania, so many other countries that have reached out and wanted information about our small modular reactor project that we have been moving on here in Ontario for the last number of months, and then made the announcement last week on the technology that want to purchase this, which means we could see billions and billions of dollars in growth in GDP here in Ontario, because this is where the supply chain is. Over 220 different companies working in the nuclear sector here in Ontario. So it's a big news story, not just from an electricity front, but an economic development piece as well. And of course, retaining the 76,000 jobs and expanding to those 76,000 jobs that already exist in our nuclear sector here in Ontario with the SMR project, the Small Modular Reactor Project. Also had an opportunity to get out last Friday for a couple of local arts announcements with the Ontario Trillium Foundation. And Bridget Muir was the volunteer who was with us from the Ontario Trillium Foundation. These were community building grants. One went to the Ontario Arts Council. Another one went to that great Quinte Ballet School of Canada, where we got a sneak peek actually at the Nutcracker, which is going to be on stage at the Empire Theatre on Sunday, December 12th. Two shows, one early in the afternoon, I think at 2, and then another one at 5. So book your tickets through the Empire Theatre. There's 22 students at the Quinte Ballet School of Canada that are going to be a part of this presentation. They come from all over Canada and actually even around the world. There was a young lady that I met from Mexico and another one who comes from Bermuda who were there, and of course from all across Canada, including a couple from the Quinte region as well. So a real great cast of characters, young students who want to put on a great show on Sunday. If you can, get out there and support the Quinte Ballet School of Canada. We were there to celebrate their 50th anniversary and also hand them one of these community building grants from the Ontario Trillium Foundation to help support the great work that they're doing at that school, which really is a jewel in the Quinte area and something that we should be extremely proud of. And of course, the Quinte Arts Council as well do such great work. They rebranded during the pandemic. So the funding that they got went into a new website and new branding and some other great things that are going to help them market the over 500 musicians and actors and artists that are part of the Quinte Arts Council. So we were really pleased to be able to be out there and support the arts in Quinte last week. In the meantime, we're getting closer to Christmas. Make sure that you're continuing to follow public health rules in the Quinte region. I look forward to seeing you somewhere over the holiday period, but the best thing you can do is make sure you get that shot, keep practicing the rules that have been set out by public health officials. Stay safe and have a warm and happy holiday season.